A very good way to make sure that you achieve your goals is to begin with the end in mind. In other words, to start out knowing exactly what you want to achieve and the steps that you're going to need to take to achieve them. Now, unfortunately, most people go about this completely the wrong way. So let's say you're here and now and you have an idea, a vague idea of the sort of thing you want. You might head off in one direction to try and achieve that goal, and you miss it entirely. So you have another go, and you try another way of achieving your goal, and still you miss it entirely. Then, after a lot more hassle and a lot more decisions and a lot more research and a lot more messing around and a lot more time, you sort of head off in the direction that you think might be the right one, and more by luck than judgment, you reach the point of achieving your goal. And you think you've done very well. But the trouble is, there is a much better way of doing it. If you start with your goal, you start by deciding exactly what it is that you want to achieve, whatever your objective is. And then you work back from your goal to where you are now. You'll find it much, much easier to know exactly the steps that you need to go through, because you'll need to know exactly what you need to accomplish each step of the way. It's a bit like if you're in a strange city and you get lost and you look at a map. Let's say you haven't got a sat nav or a GPS, but you're looking at a plain old-fashioned map like these people here in Antwerp, and you need to go somewhere. Now, quite often these public maps that they have on walls and things will have little arrows saying you are here. And often the easiest way to find where you want to go is to find where you want to go on the map and then work back to where you are at that particular moment. And then you can retrace your route backwards, in other words, from where you are now to where you want to go. But it's easier to locate where you want to go first and then to work your way back to where you are at the moment than try and sort of blunder your way through the various streets, especially if you're not really familiar with the town or city that you're in. Try it. It does work, and it does work very well. Okay, now let's give an example here as to how you can apply these techniques to your life. Now, let's say, for the sake of example, you've decided that you want to buy a classic sports car, like this 1956 MG here. What steps are you going to need to go through in order to achieve your goal of buying a classic MG? Well, let's start at the end. And your ultimate goal, your ultimate objective is to drive the car of your dreams. That's what you want to do. Be that an MG or some other type of car. So that's the ultimate objective. That's the ultimate goal. Drive the car of your dreams. Well, in order to drive the car of your dreams, you're going to need to do a deal and purchase it from its former owner. Now, in order to get to that stage, you're going to need to view cars. You probably won't buy the first one that you look at, so you need to view several cars. You're going to need to take test drives, and you're going to decide on the one that you want. Now, in order to view cars and go on test drives, etc., you need to find these cars to begin with, and the way that you're going to need to do that is to scan classic car magazines, look at classic car websites, and so on. But of course, there's not a lot of point in doing that unless you have enough money to buy a classic car in the first place. So you're going to need to save up and or arrange a car loan so you know exactly how much money you have to spend on your classic car. Now you can see the path that you need to follow in order to drive the car of your dreams. first thing you have to do is save up and or arrange a car loan. Then when you've done that, you need to scan classic car magazines and websites. When you've done that, you want to view cars, take a test drive, decide the one you want. Then you're going to do a deal and purchase the car from the former owner. And then there you go, you've reached your goal, drive the car of your dreams. But you know you're going to be able to achieve each one of these smaller goals each step along the way, because you know exactly what it is that you need to do to get you to the stage where you can meet that goal. So you know exactly what you need to do. So you know that your goal can be achieved. And of course, this is a good way of also weeding out goals that are frankly unachievable, because you'll know that you won't be able to get to the next step because you're working your way back. So you're not going to sort of take a leap in the dark, so to speak, because you know exactly what you have to do. And if it can't be achieved, you'll know that before you start out. So therefore, success is pretty much guaranteed if you follow this particular pattern. Now, this whole system was devised by the late Dr. Stephen Covey in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it is, without a doubt, one of the best books on goal setting and life organizing that I've ever read. And you can still get it on Amazon and other good bookshops. And it's certainly worth getting and reading, and because it is, like I say, one of the best books that I know of on this particular subject. But like he says, when you begin with the end in mind, you know exactly what you need to do to achieve your goals and be successful.